The Nautilus. Today we're going to be looking at the Natty Daddy. The Natty Daddy is a sentinel that a lot of people don't use because it has survivability issues, I'm not going to lie to you, but it does have a use, and hopefully I will be able to convince you to possibly use this on one of your like 10,000 builds. So before we get into what it does, we're going to look at its base stats: bad health, bad armor, even worse shield. If it had lower shield, it would actually be better, so you could shield gate more, but it is what it is. It does have some survival issues, so you will need to account for that some way or another. So we're going to front load it with the trash, right? Let's get the bad stuff out of the way. Auto Omni, one of its abilities. It has a 100% chance to restore broken shit on your railjack when you're near it. So you're going to have to get off the gunner, get off the driver's seat, and run to it, let it heal, and then you can run away. This is one of those abilities that if it got a minor buff, if they removed the cooldown, if they made it so it just repaired stuff as is, it would be great. It would be a fantastic ability, a must pick for railjack players, but unfortunately in a current state, it's like, why would you use it when there's abilities for railjack that already do that? It makes no sense to bring this companion for that ability, unfortunately. But we're not bringing it for that. We're bringing it for Cordon. Cordon basically just groups the entire room every 15 seconds. That's all you need to know. Groups the entire room every 15 seconds. Fantastic. Works excellent with the synth mods. These two synth mods right here, if you're unaware of what they do, one of them makes you drop extra health orbs when it hits shit, and the other one makes it so that you can pick up health orbs when you're at full HP, which is very useful for equilibrium. If you're unsure what equilibrium is, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to go back to it. So, Cordon. The reason it's first on this is because the priority actually matters. It's top left to right, left bottom to right. The order matters. So we have Cordon, Guardian, Shield Charger, which this could mess up your Shield Gate builds, but it's not messing up mine, so I like it. Plus it helps the regen of it. And then we have the synth mods. We have, well, I guess we should start at the right side. We should have primed regen because it will die. Shield recharge. A lot of people think they should stack the armor and health and shield capacity. Unfortunately, those are useless because when you get to level 400, 500, 6,000, 9,000, everything's going to be doing a million billion damage, and no amount of these mods will help at all. Even if you have all of them, it's still going to get one shot. So I feel like the shield recharge is best for shield gating, and then we have vacuum, animal instinct, assault mode. So that's the long and short of this. But 30 meters, just pay attention. At 30 meters, we're going to look at a build I have on Limbo, kind of a meme build. So this is Coil Horizon. Coil Horizon is a very standard grouping ability. Its base range is 12. Notice right now the range I have on it is 30 meters, the same as Cordon. That's with Cunning Drift, that's with Stretch, that's with Overextended. It won't come anywhere near that without there. So Cordon is very powerful in that it provides the grouping necessity that Coil would foster without any like abilities, without anything. It's not costing energy, it's just doing it. Every once in a while it's grouping everything to the extent that this would, which is very powerful, and it can be very convenient on a lot of builds, such as Limbo. I think it's excellent on Limbo, but before we go to what frames it's good on, let's talk about what weapons it's good with. I really like Hellstrom. I think Hellstrom is fantastic. If you're missing out on the viral, say you use the Panzervolk Violet just for the viral priming, you can prime viral with this. This is priming viral and heat to a pretty significant degree. So excellent, excellent, excellent in that term. I like to use gas though. I think this Cordon shines most with gas because you apply the gas and then that's hitting other things and that counts for the synth mod set. So very powerful with that. I think it would also work excellently with Sweeper, something that can hit a lot. Verglass with Punch Through, doing a lot of damage. It could be great with. You just basically need to be hitting everything once. So the part of the reason I think Hellstrom is just fantastic is because it says multi-shot is 2.5. That's a lie. Every one bullet from this is 4 rounds, 4 heat-seeking missiles. So this is 12 heat-seeking missiles that are just careening towards stuff, and the Riven is not increasing the missiles. That's fire rate and projectile speed. Without the Riven here, you would solely want projectile speed. Projectile speed is invaluable to make this weapon useful so that it doesn't take a million miles for the missiles to travel across the map. Also, another pro tip is to make your energy color for your missiles something you could see, so you can see when stuff is primed by this, which is very useful. Now, what frames is this good for? It's good for Limbo, as I said. We're going to see why in a live demonstration. It's also good with Gara. Gara has an ability, her second, I think it's Splinter Storm, Yes, Splinter Storm you can apply to Sentinels. In order to apply this 90% damage reduction and damage buff, basically, to Sentinel, you gotta like run forward and look backwards up at your Sentinel while you spam cast it, and eventually it'll cast it. Very convenient. Maybe you have a Saren that just annihilates the room constantly, and it would be nice to have a grouping tool because say you already have Nourish, say you're annihilating everything, you're applying Viral, and you don't need a primer, you could use the Hellstrom Nautilus to group the rooms. I can't tell you, it's grouping rooms. It's grouping stuff above you, below you, it's grouping everything. It feels like it's a giant 30-meter bubble and not just a flat 30-meter horizon, which is a pretty significant distinction. So today's build that we're going to be looking at the live demonstration for Limbo, I think it works great on Limbo. And I'm using the Septima Expontificil Tenet Archiplasma. I have a video about it on my channel. And then we're using the Pox Microbicidal Serum, which is blast and corrosive. So we're going to do, through the power of the PS5, we're going to load in very quickly. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about the Nautilus, and we're going to see it in action. So as we're loading in, let me just preface it by, you will hear the coordinability function. It makes a very distinct sound when it is going off. And I will display it immediately once we load in. So I'm going to go into the rift. When I'm in the rift, I can't damage anything. I can't interact with the environment. It is extremely rare to find something that is not an ability that goes through the rift to interact in any sense. You probably just heard that sound. That was the grouping ability noise. We're going to wait the like 10 seconds or whatever it is now. And in just a second, we're going to hear a noise. That was the noise. See how it's grouping everything up? Now I'm going to put my primer on the ground. It's great for if you're using Sentient's Wrath, that pushes enemies away. If you're using Stomp, if you're using something that knocks enemies away, it's great to have them like yoinked back, because like a lot of times you're stuck in an animation, you're doing something. It's like hands-free. It's like Siri, group enemies so I can kill them. Really nice in that aspect. So it is unfortunate in the aspect of it's gonna die. You can see like it probably got hit by one bullet and it's a 98 health. So it does have some survival issues. You can mitigate that again through certain frames. There is a Parazon mod that will let you regen it when you get X amount of finisher kills or whatever. But so works great on Saren too. You're killing everything. It's grouping everything up. But there's some survivability issues there if for whatever reason you're not just evaporating everything at higher levels perhaps. Additionally, I know you can say this about literally everything, but it's fantastic at Star Chart because it's grouping entire rooms to make quick work of them. So if you're not relying on the Zuma Boom meta anymore because you're having ammo issues, it can help alleviate that because like obviously you don't want to do Star Chart most of the time. Most people don't want to when they have access to Steel Path, but it's like, oh, you have a Lotus event or you have some sort of Nightwave challenge. A lot of times it's like you're forced against your will to do Star Chart, and I love the Naughty Dotty for that particular aspect because it's just grouping everything in the entire room, making it a lot easier, making it a lot more streamlined, more efficient. And it can help you with energy conservation because since it's grouping everything and it's hitting everything with the missiles, it's doing a little tiny bit of damage, not much, and it's really getting you a lot of orbs from hitting everything once or twice. So there's really not too much more. I guess we'll do a little bit more of this level, but that's the long and short of it. Very simple, very sweet ability that I think could be very useful on some of your builds, but it is probably going to get replaced for if you and your buds are like, hey, let's go level cap my guy, my Duderic. You're probably going to swap it out, right? But maybe you don't have any trouble keeping your Sentinel alive. Maybe you have Arcane Energize and you don't need Equilibrium in the synth set. Maybe everything is peachy keen and there's not a thing in the world that could harm you or your bot. Excellent choice. I think it's one of the best options in the game, but it's a shame that the coordinability isn't just available on everything, because I think it would be a massive quality of life to Sentinels in general. It should just be available to Sentinels, not, you know, Kavats or Panzervolpophilas, but I think it would make them a lot more competitive, and I do think it's within the realm of plausibility, because Vacuum was once the same way, only put it on carrier, so people only use carrier, and who knows, maybe one day we'll get Panzervolpophila's benefit, because right now Panzervolpophyla is a lot more like how carrier was, because it's like, hey, it's the only thing that can survive, so it's the only thing people use, which is unfortunate, but hopefully this video will give you a better understanding of Nautilus and how it can be an effective and useful companion, but unfortunately it's not like I can say that it's the best companion in the game, unfortunately, but it is what it is. It provides some benefits to some frames, and it might hurt others. Say you have a frame that's very squishy, you don't have good defense, maybe you don't even have good weapons, you need to keep your distance and be stealthy. It could yoink enemies towards you. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it breaks stealth. Like, it's not going to break your stealth, but I do believe it brings enemies into an alert status, which probably not optimal for spy frames too, unfortunately, but anytime you're doing a quick run, or you're just trying to get through a level, or you don't have issues keeping it alive, or maybe you're playing a specific frame who could benefit from it, maybe you have an ability you throw on the ground and you need to pull enemies into it. It's great for Limbo's bubble, his stasis, because it'll pull enemies into it. Let's see if I can get my Vacilos shots. Yeah, we got him. That was easy. But like I said, not the best, but it can still be great. Kind of like Limbo, kind of like everything I use. So if you'd like to learn about the primary or the secondary weapon I'm using in this video, I have videos on them. I don't have the video on the Vastalok that I'm using, because Vastalok, quite frankly, is pretty, like, simple, I guess. I don't think I could add anything that a YouTuber hasn't covered on the Vastalok, unfortunately, but who knows, maybe I will. But that's essentially the long and short of it. It's accoutrement to my Limbo video. Eventually you will see a Limbo video on this channel going over endgame level strats for Limbo and how to have fun as Limbo, because if you're picking Limbo, you're not doing it because you want to, like, have the biggest cock. You're picking him because he's fun. But maybe you do have the biggest cock. Actually, no, that's not possible because it's me. But it is what it is. So yeah, overall, Cordon is not going to completely change your life. It's not going to change the way you play Warframe, but it could provide a big benefit to certain frames like Gara. Pull them into Spectro Siphon, pull them into your Orb of Death, pull it into your Limbo Bubble, pull it into your Hydroid Puddle, pull it into anything that needs pulling into, which there's a lot of uses for that. It's just unfortunate it has some survival issues. So at the risk of repeating myself for the umpteenth time, if you felt like you learned anything from this video, or you have any opinions or thoughts or anything of the sort, the only way you can express that to me is if you go to, like, Facebook Marketplace or one of these marketplace sites, and you just start messaging random people for random deals. Like, say someone's selling an air fryer, just start haggling with them over it. Be like, oh, they're asking $200. Be like, oh, can you do it for $150? And then they'll be like, oh, $180. And then be like, oh, meet me at $175. Make me feel like I won today. Then I'm a big man. And then they'll agree, and then, like, finalize the deal, and then just block them. Have no communication with them ever again. Block out of your mind. You don't even remember it. You're on with your day. So that's the only way you can let me know that you liked this video. Yeah, get on that post haste. Bye.